Hello everyone, my name is Prajakta Dhage and I am from Department of Zoology, KTHM College, Nashik. So today I'll be taking a lecture for MSc Part 2 and the semester is 3. Subject that we are going to deal with is soft skills and chapter is Unit 2. Topic for today is the stains and this is the third lecture of this particular chapter. Now let's move on to what are stains. So stain is any chemical or any reagent used for coloring the microscopic object, which can be a cell itself, or it can be some kind of tissues, or it can be an entire organism, say like unicellular organisms like paramecium, etc. Okay, so when you're using something to add color to or add color to that particular structure, then it is called as this particular coloring agent will be called as a stain. Okay, now let's see what is staining. Okay, staining is nothing but a supporting procedure used to increase or enhance the contrast in the object that you are viewing under the microscope. Okay, so basically stains and dyes are frequently used in histological preparations to study the cells or tissues in the field of, say, biology, histopathology, hematology and cytopathology and etc. Okay, in general the stains and dyes used are complex chemicals which often shows some variability in performances and render color to the tissues or cellular component by making change in refractive indices of various components of the object. Various components of the cells or tissues show differential physical or chemical affinities with different types of stains. Okay, now let's see. The stains are going to have two active groups, okay, that are going to have definite chemical composition. The first one will be referred to as chromophoric group and the second one will be referred to as oxochromic group. Now what is this chromophoric group? It is, see, the chromophore is a part of a molecule responsible for its color. Chromophoric group impart color to the compounds known as chromogens. Okay, and the oxochromic groups, it is a group which itself does not act as a coloring agent, but when it is attached to the chromophore, it shifts the absorption towards the longer wavelength along with an increase in the intensity of absorption. So this was about the active groups, which are chromophoric groups, and which are and the other ones are oxochromic groups. Now let's move on towards another concept which is called as types of stains or classifications of stains. Okay, so stains, again we can say that stains are organic coloring agents that usually have typical aroma representing aromatic compounds. Okay, and we have already seen its two say two active groups, which is chromophoric and oxochromic. See, the chromophoric group of stain is charged molecule which is going to bind to the charged cellular components such as proteins and nucleic acid, and later on oxochromic, this group dissolves and dissociates in water and helps chromophoric group to get attached to the cellular components. The most common oxochromic groups are hydroxyl and amine, whereas the common chromophoric groups are carboxyl group, nitro group, azo group, indamine group and quinoid group. Okay, so now let's talk about the types of stains. Now types of stains, there are many ways to classify the types of stains, but the simplest approach is to base the classification upon its use with regards to the tissue and cellular components. Many stains may be general use or used for staining either the nucleus or the cytoplasm, or they may be specific with regard to a particular component. It must be emphasized that many stains require special methods of fixation and preparation of the tissues. Okay. Stains in general use are considered to be either acidic or basic, but in fact there are going to be neutral salts having both acidic and basic radicals. Like classically, stains are classified as the basic stains, the acidic stains, and the say vital stains. Okay, now let's move on or see the properties of each one of these stains. So basic stains, these are also known as cationic or nuclear stains. Okay, why they are called so? Because it is used to render the color to the nuclear component of the cell. When coloring property of a stain is in basic radical of a neutral salt, the stain is referred to as basic stain. Chromogen or chromophoric group of the basic stain has positive charge due to cation. It has greater affinity towards the negatively charged cellular component. Examples are nucleic acid, and has a greater combining capacity in alkaline pH. The substances that are attracted towards the basic stains are referred to as basophiles, and the property is known as basophilia. In most instances, the basophile substances which attract the basic stain themselves are acids like nucleic acid, DNA, RNA. Some example of basic stains are say methylene blue, safranin, then you have methyl green, crystal violet, basic fuchsin, acridine orange, azure, B, etc. Okay, now let's move on to another component or another type of stain, which is called as acidic stain. They're also known as say anionic or cytoplasmic stains. Why they are called as cytoplasmic stain is because they are used to color the cytoplasmic component of the cells. See, when coloring property of the stains in acidic radical of neutral salt, the stain is referred as acidic stain. Chromogen or chromophoric group of acidic stain has negative charge due to anion. It has greater affinity towards the positively charged cellular components like many proteins in the cytoplasm, and they have higher greater combining capacity in the acidic pH. The substances that attract towards the acidic stain are referred as acidophiles, and their property is known as acidophilia. In most instances, proteins present in the cytoplasm retains the positive charge and which can be stained with acidic stains. Some examples of cytoplasmic or say acidic stains are eosin, acid fuchsin, methyl blue, picric acid, Congo red, then you have nigrosin, Indian ink or fluorescein, etc. Clear? Now coming on to the last type of stain, which are referred to as the vital stains. Vital stains are used to render color to the living cells or tissues for the microscopic observations. These stains may be injected into a living animal, and the stained tissue is removed and examined, or the living tissue may be removed directly and subsequently stained. The microorganisms such as protozoans may be fully immersed into a vital stain for their microscopic observation. Some examples of vital stain are trypan blue, erythrocene, vital red, neutral red, and Janus green. Janus green B is common vital stain mainly used to demonstrate mitochondria in living cells. This stain has a differential activity in different states, that is blue in oxidized state while colorless in reduced state. Hence, when living tissue is exposed to Janus green B, the stain gets reduced and becomes colorless within the cytoplasm. But when enters the mitochondria, gets oxidized due to oxidizing enzyme cytochrome oxidase and turns blue, which helps to distinguish the mitochondria within the living cells. So this was Janus green B was the best example of the vital stain which you are going to use for staining the living cells or living tissues. It is not going to hamper the interfere or hamper the organism or the type of cell. So this was all from my side about the classification of stains, and thank you very much.